here's an update on a couple of things, specifically about the vehicle. Yes, I'm holding my cell phone while driving. I'm in Texas. I just checked. It's legal. I can't send texts or receive text messages while driving, but you can hold a cell phone while driving in Texas. Anyways, I went into Austin's transmission and clutch shop. I don't remember exactly what it's called. And they kind of confirmed my worst fear, which is that the transmission in the Toyota Sequoia does need to be completely rebuilt. I came in and I said, I think the torque converter is probably gone. I was worried that maybe it damaged the transmission, but I thought maybe because the situation really hasn't seemed to have gotten much worse since the noise started. Very clearly, there was a very clear moment where all of a sudden I was driving in third gear. I had it set in third gear, overdrive off, towing, and I was in southern Georgia. I thought that I was pretty much in the clear because I was through the mountains. The temperature gauge was not really at any abnormal spot anymore, although it had, kind of spiked coming down through the mountains, but never gone into the red, or even right next to the red, though it got uncomfortably close to it a few times. And then I had this moment where I was driving in southern Georgia, and all of a sudden I thought that a vehicle in front of me was really getting on their accelerator and downshifting, and all of a sudden I finally realized, wait, this is my vehicle. And it's been making that sound ever since. You might be able to hear it right now. It's just kind of a whine, kind of a loud whine. That's not that bad in fourth gear where I am right now, not towing a trailer. But in third gear, it is loud, and it's significantly different than how third gear sounded before that happened. So anyways, it didn't really get any worse from that point on, and I thought, maybe something went in the torque converter, but it hadn't necessarily damaged the transmission. They confirmed it needs a full transmission rebuild. They gave me an estimate of $4,000. I don't have $4,000 on hand right now. That is what it is. I've thought different things if I hadn't been spending money on an apartment that I'm really not even using right now, or any amount of other things, and had kind of focused on setting aside an emergency fund rather than kind of always finding something to spend money on when it's available. I might be in a better spot. But what I'm doing right now, I decided to take a risk, a calculated risk, and drive 16 more hours to Arizona, to Prescott Valley, Arizona, where my car is parked, and trade out the truck for the car. So far, I do feel like I'm feeling a little bit of a worsening. Not much, and it could be imagination. I feel every little jolt or surge that I think is, the transmission kind of slipping or acting up in some way. But it could be a gust of wind, or it could be a changing texture in the road, or it could be a whole bunch of other things, and I don't really know for sure, because I'm obviously really keyed in, really almost paranoid, kind of worried about this decision to make the rest of this drive. But why I decided to do that is because I have a bunch of stuff in this truck, and the people who sold it to me, super, super nice people. They're willing to take the truck and let me park it there until I get the money together to do the transmission. And if that takes longer than early January, we might have to have another discussion about it at that point. But I really will focus on saving that up and being ready to go at that point. And I have this piece of equipment from Dave at Good as Old in the truck that I imagine is a pretty expensive piece of equipment. It's a hydraulic lift like a cart, but that has a hydraulic lift on it, and he sent me with that to do the job. It was absolutely necessary to have it to do the job that I did in Florida. We could not have unloaded and put together that cabinet without that piece of equipment. So very thankful that he sent it. But I don't want to leave it parked somewhere in Austin where I don't have, you know, a whole lot of known ways of picking it up or options available. So what I decided to do was try to go ahead and make the rest of this drive and transfer that over to my car, transfer a few things around, get the essentials into the car, and drive back to Michigan. And that's one less thing to really have to worry about. I was going to pull into that little rest area and use the restroom, but they didn't have a restroom. It was just a parking area. So anyways, that's kind of where I'm at right now. That's an update for you if you're following along on the vehicle, the broken vehicle and supposed broken rib, which I believe now is a popped rib. But at some point when I get home, I'm going to go and get that diagnosed too. I realized that it was going to be extremely expensive to do that through the ER, out of pocket. So I need to go. I could have just done it. I decided not to. So anyways, when I get back home, I can confirm my suspicions by going into my primary care physician once I get one. So that'll be a task for when I get back home. But that rib is feeling much better. There's still some pain when I tense those muscles around it in a certain way, like when I'm stretching. But other than that, I'm not really noticing it. It's not really bothering me. So that's an update on those things. Once again, thank you for watching my videos. I appreciate it. I'm getting close to that 500 subscriber mark. And I appreciate, you know, everybody who's making that possible and getting me one step closer to being monetized on YouTube. So thanks for that, and catch you later.